Well, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be reviewing the QSP Gannet. Alright guys, so the QSP Gannet, this is one that I've been trying to review for like 3 months. Every time I'm like, alright, I need to get this review out, and I'll start carrying it, and then I'll carry it for like a friggin' day, and then something will happen with life, and it ends up not in my pocket for another like 3 weeks. Don't take that as a knock on the knife. The knife is really, really cool. So we got some T6 screws here. The really cool QSP logo that they use on their pivots, unlike their cheesy looking logo that they use on their blades, but whatever. I love that triangle logo. I think that's sick. Again, T6 screws. We have some micarta going on here with some red carbon fiber bolsters. Looks pretty sweet. And the seam between the bolsters and the micarta is virtually seamless. I mean, it's you can see the seam because they're two different colors. And yeah, I did dark wash this. Was not as dark. I believe this was black micarta, but it looked like that tan, and I got some oil on it to make it look right. But that seam is just so good. We have a little scallop here so that you can access the liner lock. Here we have a G10 backspacer with some stainless steel liners going all the way through it. The liners are milled out on the inside. Here we have kind of like this chromed out, and in my opinion, this kind of looks cheap, but also looks classy. It's like one of those where you're like, let me show you. Let me show you something. Let me show you its brother. Here's the QSP Piglet, right? I mirrored this edge. Look at that. All right, so it's pretty cool. And this looks good, but it also has that kind of like cheap pirate look to it. Like yar, you got, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look like a pirate to you guys. It does to me. Anyways, so you got this deep carry pocket clip that is not reversible, but it does have these, it's recessed, but it has button head screws sticking out there. So it's like not fully done. It's kind of like, okay, we have some jimping going up here and some jimping going up here so that you definitely have access to this. I am not sure what that bottom jimping serves. I have yet to figure out why the hell that right there is jimped, because this is all hidden back here when it's all said and done. I am not sure why I would ever push forward on this, that I need some grip for that, but whatever. All right, so the flipping action clearly is fantastic, right? You can definitely access that front flipper. There is no up and down, no back and forth. The action with this liner is pretty damn good, and the blade is very much centered. The blade is also a 154 cm, which makes this pretty freaking sweet, and is a full flat grind. Let us get to some of the specs, some of the size comparisons. I will tell you my likes, my dislikes, and I think right now I'll just get it out of the way. I think the price is like $75. It's in, let's say, plus or minus $10 at the $75 range. Sorry about that. I forgot. I looked at this and I'm like, I need to review a knife today, and I felt unprepared. And I'm like, shit. And I was getting ready to pack up my stuff because I didn't have any knives that I was really ready to do. And I'm like, God damn it. Yeah, I'm ready to do this one. So anyways, I don't remember the price. It's like 75 plus or minus $10. All right, time for the weight. You guys have waited long enough to find out the weight of the QSP Gannet. So the weight is coming in at 3.57 ounces. I should start guessing the weights, like Metal Comp 3.57. I should start guessing the weights because it's not about, I know we do it just to see if we're right, but there's actually like something to learn about guessing the weight, right? We've already felt so many knives. I'm not talking we as I'm talking like channel guys. We've felt so many knives that, and some of you, a lot of you have too, but that you kind of get a feel for weight. But you've also noticed that something that is so well balanced feels so much lighter than it actually is, right? Like this, I feel like is a little ass heavy. See? Like that's where the balance point is. So it doesn't feel as light as it should. 3.57 ounces. I would guess 3 to 4 ounces, but I mean, I wouldn't, it doesn't feel ultra heavy, but that balance point, if it was further up the blade, would be, or further up the scales and the handle, it would feel so much lighter. But when you're sitting like this, it's like, I mean, the distance is different. Anyways, just something odd. I might start doing that just for fun, and it kind of gives you a sign of like how it's going to feel in hands, really. Okay, this doesn't look like my tape measure. There it is. What the hell was that? All right. I didn't even know this thing had two sides. All right, so the overall length on this guy is coming in at just shy of 8 inches. It looks like 7 9/10 of an inch. Your blade length is coming in at just shy of 3.5 inches. Wow. And your cutting edge is coming in at about 3 1/4, 3 1/8, 3 1/16. Okay, 3 1/36. I'm just kidding. It's about 3 1/4, 3 1/8, in between 3 1/8, 3 1/4. Okay, interesting to note here though is so this thing. I just noticed this unfortunately during the review, which sucks. Not sucks, but sucks that I noticed it during the review. It's a knock on me, not the knife. This is coming in just shy of 8 inches, so you're showing like I said, it's about 7 3/4. The blade length's coming in at about 3 1/4, so your blade length to handle ratio is damn near perfect. But guess what? Your blade length's coming in at 3.5-ish inches, and your weight's at 3.5 inches. This thing's a ratio god, but the blade is super thin, which is good because you're going to be doing a lot of thin, slicey tasks with it. It's ultra thin, great full flat grind, but the ratio of the weight to handle and the weight there throws the balance off. Anyways, moving on. That was a total deviation. I don't like doing that because it shows you guys how ill prepared I am because I noticed it during the review. All right, so this is coming in at a 115 thousandths blade stock. Real nice. Real nice like. The overall thickness of the scales is coming in at 0.53, which is a little bit thicker than most. And when I say thicker than most, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's literally just barely. And the overall height in your pocket's coming in about 1.15 inches. Again, not an issue. I didn't get the behind the edge. Oop. So the behind the edge, with the factory edge anyways, it's coming in at 12 thousandths. Oh boy. Yep, the behind the edge is looking at 12 thousandths. This is a slicing machine. Okay, let's get you first up against. Boop. Here's your CJRB feldspar, small, and your feldspar, large. As you can see, it is generically the same size as the large feldspar, just like a hair shorter. And in profile, it's kind of similar. The large feldspar is a little bit larger stature, but mostly they're very comparable, actually. It's the large. All right, next on the list, your Civivi Praxis. So, interesting note, I only use the Praxis for review purposes. I've always loved the Praxis. Like, the more and more I handle the Praxis, the less and less large it feels. It used to feel like an extremely large knife to me, and now it does not at all. It feels kind of like an average-sized knife, which is interesting. Anyways, totally off topic. The Praxis is coming in at slightly longer and much taller in the blade face. And here's your Civivi Perf. The Perf would probably be a pretty good comparison for this knife. The blade length's generically the same. The blade shape is generically the same. The overall length is generically the same. Now the weight is going to be probably similar because the Perf is stainless steel. Your blade stock, I might do a comparison with these two. Yes, I know, it's a little bit, but when you match up the pivots, like you're getting a lot of the same. I might do a comparison. They're two totally different knives, but a lot of similarities strike me here. Now, nobody else probably wants to see this comparison, but I do things sometimes because I want to do things. And I might do that. Okay. To buy myself some time, here is your Savivi Piglet. Here's your Rat Model 1 and your Rat Model 2. Bom, bom. And last but not least, let us get on with the show. And last but not least, here is your PM2 and Paramilitary 3. Or I said that backwards. It's like the Para 3 and the Paramilitary 2, because I don't think the Para 3 is the Paramilitary 3. As you can see, it is almost the same size as your Para 3 with these aftermarket scales in length. Obviously, blade length, as we always say, or cutting edge is way different than the Para 3, and just about the same as your Para 2. So it's kind of like a hybrid as far as the best of both worlds between the Paras, and yeah. Okay, so let us talk about our likes or dislikes. Do I think this is worth it? Blah, 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 blah. All right, so this micarta, carbon fiber, looks sweet. It feels good. The micarta is a little smooth, but it's oily because I did the patina or forced patina, whatever you call it, on micarta, which I don't know if micarta can patina, but whatever. And then you have this carbon fiber, which is this red mixed carbon fiber. I think that's a red acrylic in there. It looks pretty nice. You do have a G10 backspacer, which in my opinion, it's discreet. It is subtle. There's nothing special about it, but it matches and it just makes you keep looking without double backing, and that's a good thing. Let's see if I could show you guys the insides of these. There you go. There's the milling on the inside. Not much milling on the liner side, but there's a bunch of little holes drilled into the show side. So that's nice. And they got scalloping both here and here. This scalloping allows you to kind of access this liner a little bit easier. I don't know if people said this is hard to access. I have no issue accessing it, though. To me, it's fine. You even have some scalloping on the liner with some like weird cuts for traction, I guess. So that's just quite all right. And then scalloping on this side. So what that does is that allows you to really fit, and you kind of sit in this position really well. You like sunk in, and it is great. As far as ergonomics go, in my opinion, the ergonomics of this knife are pretty outstandingly neutral. There's nothing great about them, and there's nothing I complain about. I can feel the pocket clip. It's standing a little proud right here. That's all right. It's not a massive hot spot. I just feel it. Other than that, it feels pretty damn good. In use, it feels really good, but I never use this for hard use, so I can't really tell you. Do I have a stick? Here. This is my hard use test. I just bear down and... Okay. No, I don't really feel too many issues. I think it feels quite all right. The design, I think, looks great. I've heard Neves and a couple others say that the liner feels like a cheap liner. I don't really know what that means. I mean, I guess it kind of feels plasticky with whatever, chrome coating they have on there, but it is what it is. The front flipping action I thoroughly enjoy more than most. Can I go over the top? I'm not good at this. I am not good at that. And you can. Woohoo! If I can do it, you guys can. Because I suck at coming over the top. Look at how I'm doing it. I'm like gorilla freaking, right? All right. Can you slow roll it? Kind of. All right, so the action's fun. Let's just put it that way. I'm clearly not the best. First kind of little complaint. The way this sharpening choil works. Now let me show you a couple that I have prepared here. See how deep and narrow this one's choil is versus this one? So this one goes much deeper. What that does is, while it doesn't seem like you're getting much more sharpened length out of the blade, you definitely are. Let's see here. Oh yeah, let's just do them side by side. See, the Gannett on the left is so shallow, but the reason is it's like an obtuse circle. That doesn't make any sense. That's the definition of a triangle. So it's like a really, really shallow, long swoop rather than an immediate punch. Another good example, if you want to do that long swoop, is the Civivi Elementum. You see how deep that long swoop goes? I have all of this right here as sharpen ability. This one, all I have is like this. It's not much. And part of, like, you have this plunge grind, which they kind of did weird. They wanted it to carry like out towards the blade, but they wanted to they prioritized their logo on the flat over function with this plunge grind. So you see how the plunge grind kind of comes up and in? It swoops out so that you can get your freaking logo on there. But in my opinion, you're jacking up a lot by doing that. If you were to just do a nice plunge grind right here and screw your logo, right? You don't need to put it on your blade. Do a plunge grind right here, and then you could just do a normal little sharpening choil. Even if you did that plunge grind where it went straight back right here, the problem is this plunge grind comes all the way to right here, so it makes it a lot less shallow even for a shallow sharpening choil. Had you taken it out to the middle of that plunge grind straight back, you would have gotten a lot more sharpening out of this. I don't think you're going to get that much sharpening life out of this if you're a guy that dulls your knife frequently and has to go back to the drawing or back to the sharpening stone once or twice a month. Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of use out of this blade. Or you're going to develop a smile. In my opinion, you'd need to add another sharpening. That thing that's frustrating. And the fact that they prioritize their QSP logo there is annoying. We already know your QSP, stick with your cool logo. That annoys me. 154 CM. I didn't really talk about this, but that's fantastic. For the price of 75 plus or minus dollars, absolutely fantastic. So what are my overall thoughts on this knife? It is on bearings, by the way. Overall, it was one of those knives where I'm on the fence. And I'm on the fence in a good way as far as like, I really like this. And then I would set it down and I'd come back to it and I'm like, I really like this, right? In use, I mean, the blade, for being such a narrow blade stock, narrow behind the edges, stupid slicey. Zoop, zoop. That just took all of, let's see if you guys can see it. Like, I just shaved like my whole arm with this thing. Stupid. Really, really good. Not that that's like a really good thin slice. I'm just telling you, it's fantastic. So the blade shape is great. The everyday use is great. The ergonomics are good. The action is really good. It's QSP typical action. Like, it's smooth. It's just such a light blade that it doesn't have like a massive fall shut. But similar to that in QSP fashion, with another liner lock, this is the Piglet. The blade is kind of thin, or not really kind of thin, but it's just light. And so it doesn't have enough weight to go down. I don't know if this was on phosphor bronze or not. But anyways, this is a super smooth action too. What I can tell you is, even if QSP is not drop shut, holy smokes are they fantastic as far as smoothness. Talk about Sebenza smooth, I'm going to say QSP smooth. QSP is ridiculous. Last thing to note, and I noticed this on the Piglet, but the problem is I'm noticing the same hardware on the Gannett. Last thing, this is a big negative. These screws are shearing. Okay, I'll just get right down to the topic. These screws on these sub $100 knives with this G10 and these liners, they shear inside these barrel spacers with too much Loctite. So I was trying to take this one apart, as clearly I modded the shit out of this. I really like this little guy. It's a cool little guy. And this is 14C20NN. But these screws shear. And one of these screws, I believe, is like epoxied in there or like just Loctite and hardened in, because it just shears off in that barrel. And what I've noticed about the Gannett is that they are the same exact hardware. The same style of pocket clips, same pocket clip screws. So, but you got to be careful with these G10 and these sub $100 QSP knives. Let me check out my Penguin real quick to see if that's what we're working with. The Penguin doesn't appear to have the same. but it might just be my bias because I freaking love the Penguin. I don't know. I can't tell. It doesn't look to be the same. But anyways, you got to be careful with QSP. This is where they're going to shortchange on the money, is their hardware, which I guess to that point, Neves Knives said that the liners felt cheap and they're the cheap type of liner. That might be what he's talking about. Have you guys ever felt that steel that's real plasticky that when you break, you're like, was that plastic or was that steel? I think that's the steel he's referring to. Like you can just like bend it and it just snaps. And but it doesn't like snap like it was hardened. It snaps like it was meant to break as soon as you put it at a 15-degree angle. That might be what he's talking about, but that's the steel that it kind of feels like on these screws. So I haven't done it with this, but I can tell you the screws look exactly the same. Even the liners look exactly the same as far as like the style. So just be careful with your hardware on this. Aside from that, it is a really, really good knife. It'll serve its purpose well, especially if you don't use it to the point of dulling it so frequently, right? And with 154 cm, it should be fine. Just don't use it on a bunch of like ceramic fiber stuff or something that you're going to dull it immediately, or sandbags or something, right? But if you're going to dull it a lot, use a different knife because that plunge grind is just going to totally jack up unless you just add another sharpening choil in there. This is the QSP Gannett. Is it worth 75 bucks? By all means, for sure. 75 to like 90 bucks, somewhere in that range. Definitely. It's a really cool knife. Everything about it is awesome. I am on the fence of keeping it. Like I love it that much, and I might be a little biased because it's QSP, but you know, QSP is awesome. My name is Tyler, this is Everyday EDC. Hope this was enjoyable, and I hope my thought process wasn't completely and utterly sporadic. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking rest of your day. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, if you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and or leave a comment. The whole reason this channel was created was to interact with you guys and just share the love of knives. So until next time, you guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking rest of your day. Thanks for watching.